Hi everyone, so thank you for joining me. Today what we're going to be building is an AI workflow in N8N. What I'm going to be doing is taking data from Google Sheets, then processing it with AI and building a marketing email, and then sending it on Discord and follow-up email for the customers who signed up. Without further ado, let's dive into this. Okay, we are starting with our project. You can go to N8N platform, home, and add workflow, as I am just doing now. We're gonna call it email follow up workflow. With every workflow, this is something you need to understand. Every workflow basically starts or gets triggered by a trigger node. So let me show you what I mean by trigger nodes. Trigger manually or webpack. So there's different ways to trigger. Either something happened in your email, you received a new email, or you were talking with a chatbot and you asked for some information, and that scenario triggered this as this workflow. So triggers are nodes. Every node is a unit that is interacting in the workflow that's responsible for something. For example, trigger, AI, editing, code, or just interacting as an API service where we're retrieving some data or we're connecting with some service. So every node is doing something, and the whole project communicates together with nodes. Let me show you. So now we're gonna start with the first trigger, which is Google Sheets trigger. Exactly. And I want it to trigger if it's updating an email or if it's adding a new email to the sheets. So I'm going to choose this one. And what's going to happen is it's going to check your email every minute. Poll times signifies how often am I interacting with this API, how often am I interacting with the service, and fetching if and checking and fetching if there's new data, checking for new data and fetching the new data. I'm gonna connect it with my Google Sheets account. If you don't have Google Sheets, you can create a new Google Sheets account, and mostly it's just, as you can see here, you sign in with Google. Very straightforward. But if you don't get this, then you would have to go to Google Cloud Console, connected with your email. That's only in the case that you haven't enabled this already and you are selected first time. We click on API services and we type enable APIs and services. We search for Sheets, Google API Sheets, enable. This is how you enable it. Now you can come to Google Forms, as I did, and create a form. I already created one called N8N lead gen form. So I'm going to open that. And as you can see, I already built the Google Forms, and I added the first name, last name, email address, and company. And based on the company, we're going to be building specific marketing emails for each recipient. So very important when you're building this, just make sure to go to the responses tab and link to Sheets. Once you do this, you will see it as view in Sheets. So I already put 2 responses here. You can fill out the form and hit submit. And as soon as you do that, it will automatically build this Google Sheet and fill all these fields in it. Here you can see the form with all the fields that we just entered. Let's populate this node, this Google Sheets node. And as we said, poll times every minute. So it's going to check your email every minute and fetch the data if there's new data. Document, we're going to choose the document I just created, which is the N8 leads. And the sheet, which is the first sheet inside the document. And I'm gonna form responses 1. This is how I called it. This is a form responses 1. This is what I called my sheet. We're gonna test this. And as you can see, we have the 2 columns and rows here as the ones in the file that we just fetched. Great. Now let's add our AI agent. We click on plus. I'm gonna talk with OpenAI. I'm gonna message a model. This is the action that I'm going with. So with nodes, you can have a lot of events. Every event does something. It's usually create, update, delete, or read. So we're gonna add our agent, send a message a model. We're gonna choose the AI credentials. In order to add this, for the first time you create this and you copy paste the API key basically. And you get that from this URL, platform openai.com, API keys. You create a new secret key, call something, create secret key, copy this, and you fill this. Once you hit save, it will test the connection and it will show you a green banner, connection tested successfully. Great. Now here now let me show you what kind of message I would like to communicate with. I'm gonna set it to expression, so I'm gonna add code into it. So now we choose the AI model that we want. I usually go with 4.0. And I'm gonna provide this message. You are a marketing email handling assistant. I will pass your first name, last name, potential leads, and based on their company, as mentioned before, it's gonna tailor a marketing email specifically for that company, for that person, contact. And I'm gonna show you something very cool. I'm gonna test step. The powerful thing about N8N is that now, if I press this little button right here, I see all the fields coming in. First name, last name, email, and company. And this is code manipulation. So inside the brackets, this is JavaScript code that we are using so that we transform the data into real data, but making it dynamic to every person. Because if you can see here, we have 2 items, 2 mails that we filled in the forms. What's happening here is we're taking these 2 items, we're referring to their specific first name and specific last name, specific email, specific company as an array. So it's gonna looping over all the details or the rows that we're getting from the drive. And after that, we're handling it specifically to build this email. So this is the data that we get back. But we're getting back in a kind of uncomfortable way, uncomfortable structure. I'm gonna output content as JSON, so we have access to the subject, the mail, and the body of the mail. Perfect. Now we have the subject and we have the body that we can reference directly. After this step, what we're gonna have is Discord connection. So we are posting to the channel on Discord and sending an email on Gmail. Let's add these nodes. So at the Gmail node, we want to send a message in a sec, and we add the Discord node to send a message as well, as you can see. Now we continue setting up with Gmail credentials and the Discord channel credentials too. And I will show you how to do that, especially with Discord, and how to use a webhook in order to connect to that channel. So with Gmail, we're choosing an account. If this is your first time, create new credentials. And here you need the client ID and client secret. As I mentioned, the Google Cloud Console is the place where you go to get your credentials if you haven't created it already. When you get to the screen, you choose credentials. And here is my client. If you don't have this one, we go to create credentials. Auth client in this case. Application type, web application, name. This is important. The authorized redirect URIs. Here, we go back to N8N. We take this redirect, auth redirect URL. We add the URL here. And we create this new credentials in order to connect our email. This is my credentials, the client ID and client secret. You copy and you paste it here. Client ID and client secret. Once you do that, it will show a green banner that it's connected. I have already done that, so I can show you how it looks like. So it's supposed to look like this. And now we basically construct our email. So to the email that we're handling, we're gonna use that. We're gonna use the subject and we're gonna use the body. And everything is green, everything is working great. Let's continue. Test step. All right. This is the Gmail mail. And if we check our email, we should see it. And as you can see, I have this email that was just sent to me, exploring financial solutions together. So it's a specifically built mail just for this client, just for this email. When I have their information about which company, I am tailoring a specific mail for this client. And this is like the powerful aspect of all this. Like it's specifically tailored for each person, for each information you give it. You are using the AI agent in order to work with that information and give you tailored specific solutions. Now let's set up our Discord channel connection, and we do this by selecting webhook. That would be the easiest way to set all this. With the credentials, you're supposed to go to webhook and get to Discord and get the webhook URL from there. So let me show you how to do that. You click on edit channel, whatever channel you have, and you go to integrations and you choose webhooks, as you can see here. New webhook, and you click on it and you copy the URL. So that's what we're gonna do. You paste it here. I'm not gonna do that because I already have an account, already had a connection. So I'm just gonna select it from here. Once you do it, you will straight here too. And I want to send it new addition to the marketing campaign client base. There we go. And let's test the step. Let's run this. Success. And great, I have two messages because I have two items, two mails. So you can always add, of course, two. Test it again. See, now I see their mails. And that would be it. That would be the whole flow. We have everything working. We're sending mails, we're sending to Discord, we're reading from sheets, we're working with AI. You have all the most powerful elements at your hand. This is a very good starter template to learn from. We're using webhooks as well. And I hope this video taught you a lot. I hope you gained a lot of value. Follow me for more. Thank you for watching.